Hello there, this is Cityscape on Citi TV. My name is Apioka. Today we're talking about social media and body ideals. Over years, we've been told what we should look like, what we should wear, how we should even speak. And social media has sort of amplified that. Today we're going to examine this topic and see what some of the pros and cons of social media are as far as our body shapes and how we feel about ourselves are concerned. Emma. How are you?
I'm good.
You look fabulous. You look like a doll. You're calling me doll, but you look like a doll.
I look like a lady who lunches.
I could put you on my bed, you know.
I like to do that.
Shame on you. But Emma, last week we had such a great show. I mean, February is over now. We've dealt with love. We've been there, done that. Valentine's Day is past.
Yeah.
But there's something that I want us to get into a conversation about.
Okay.
You know, yes, the love season has passed, but there's a lot of talk about body ideals and what people look like, whether they look good enough to get a Valentine's Day date, things like that, you know. And I feel as though in the past, it's not something new. In the past, we've had issues with movie stars and movies and magazines and the way they project the way both men and women should look. Now, social media has amplified that, I feel, and I think we should have a conversation about it. I really think we should.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. Like you said, in the past, it was mostly magazines, adverts, you know, models, TV stars. But now, I mean, you just pick up your phone and there it is.
You see your face.
You see all these people with perfect bodies. You don't know if it's Photoshop. That was one of the best kept secrets of the industry, but now it's accessible to everyone. Yeah. What way is it? 90, 60, 90? Yeah. So now you see all these people with perfect figure eights, you know, the Jennifer Aniston hair, the perfect Beyonce hips. And it's crazy because they're sort of taking their social media personas and they're going ahead and getting surgery to match those personas.
Spending
as well.
millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's insane. So I really try to live in the real world and not the virtual world, because I'm sure there are people who get stuck in that sort of life with, you know, feeding off of likes and views on YouTube, I guess. But yeah, it's a serious issue, and I think it affects young people as well the most, because these are people going through puberty who haven't even fully developed, who feel they should have a certain bust size or, you know, waist size or hip size
so.
or whatever.
And I mean, you mentioned something important about the surgeries. I know a lot of people say, oh, that doesn't happen in Ghana. Believe me, MFA, it's happening.
It does.
I know people who have traveled outside this country to parts of Europe,
Dubai,
parts of Asia, yes, the Emirates as well, to go have surgeries done. And those who can't afford it are finding local options. It's not always working out, but people are doing it.
And it's not always surgery. I mean, okay, I don't want to say it's not always surgery, but, you know, lipo counts as plastic surgery. Fat transfer, even if they don't cut you open, that's still plastic surgery. I mean, in Ghana especially, we value, or most people value, big hips and a more voluptuous look. I know quite a few people who've done fat transfer.
It's true.
Common here.
And even apart from that, so you go on social media, on Instagram, for example, I've seen ads and posts from different accounts that are supposed to be beauty and cosmetic accounts, just asking you, so they have different shades, skin shades, and they've numbered it, let's say 1 to 6, and they ask you, what color are you now? What color would you like to be? Yeah, so if you want to change your skin color, you want maybe a 3, you know? So you want to change your skin color, you want to look different on the outside, pop a pill or use some kind of cream. And these things are expensive.
Doesn't that affect your fertility though, those pills?
I mean, there's been research done. It can affect your fertility, even your hormonal cycle. You know, so how much estrogen you're producing at any point. Some women are ending up producing more testosterone than they should be, and men are taking them too.
So they're light, but then they start sprouting.
Exactly. It's I dare say ridiculous. You know, and people are going in for this thing. You walk into a restaurant, you see a girl, and you think she's excuse me to say, Caucasian or white, and then you look closely, and it's just,
you see her black features.
Yeah,
she's, you know, prominent nose and thick lips.
So bleaching has taken a whole different turn. You know.
You know, do you know what? I don't think insecurity is necessarily. I think everyone has their insecurities. It's quite normal. I don't think there's anyone out there who wakes up feeling 100% perfect all the time. I mean, we all have our days, but not all the time. But I don't think having surgery or having a social media persona is the way to deal with it. Even when people have surgery, they still suffer from body dysmorphia sometimes because they still find something else.
It's a deeper issue.
Yeah.
You know, believing that you're not good enough. See, our bodies are just the physical manifestation of who we are. It's what you see. It's what you see, you know, what you see. But deep down, what's really going on in there, the body tends to be a facade. So you said not even. It's not always a true representation.
Because I mean, there are lots of old people
smile.
who feel very young,
and very young people who feel very old. You know, and short people who feel tall and vice versa. Short people who feel tall and vice versa. You know, I've had situations where I'm conversing with people and they say to me, "Oh, you know what? I wish I were as light as you." And I'm like, "You don't know the skin problems I have. What it takes to keep spots off my face. I have oily skin, you know." But we're still on Citi TV. We're talking about social media and body ideals. Sort of getting into a conversation about how social media has amplified or made more prominent the issues that people have with the way they look, the way they feel.
Second Image International admissions in progress. Courses available include hairdressing, beauty therapy and fashion. Call us on 0243 331 999. Evening and weekend classes are also available.
Early on, you talked about young people. Okay, and I think that's a very important point because a lot of the time when we're talking about insecurities and things that people are going through in life, we forget about young people. So many people have so many issues. Look, just last week, Friday, there was a story about a young lady who committed suicide. So sad. Now, last week, I spent some time with some young people. You know, I mentor young people. You do that too. You've joined me on a couple of those trips. And we were talking about body ideals, funnily enough. And the young men, the boys in the room, I had put up 3 pictures asking them which of the 3 guys they would like to look like. So the first one had the big guns, you know, the arms, strong muscles, 6-pack, tall. The one in the middle was somewhere in between, still really nice trim, slender body, but not overly built. And then the third one had a pot belly. So now I asked them, and let's say 70% of them said they wanted to look like the first guy who had all the 6-packs. Why? Because they thought that's what was nice. That's what girls like. And I'm like, wow.
That's what's nice.
Really? And that's what girls like. And then the boys who said they wanted to have pot bellies, you know what their answer was? They said, oh, men who have pot bellies have money. And so if I have money, the sugar daddy stereotype. So men who have pot bellies have money. So if I look like that, it means I'll have money and I can get anybody I want. I can do anything I want. Very sad. And these are people who fall between the ages of 12 and 16. And if they're thinking like this now, and no one sort of helps to get them out of that rut, they're going to take this, way of thinking into their 20s, their 30s, and it affects your relationships. It affects who you sleep with because you think this person is the only person I'll get because I look like this. Exactly. It affects the jobs you do. I mean, for example, for years, we've been touting that if you have a pretty face or a handsome face, then you can do TV. If not, probably not, because people like to look at nice things. Exactly, over and over again. And so you have people who would really make really good, let's say, TV presenters, for example, and because they've heard this, they're shying away because they think they don't look good enough.
But you know what? When I was doing some reading online the other day, and I came across this article that made a strong argument that human beings are quite superficial beings.
Yeah, right.
And I can't say I agree or disagree because, I mean, we all like nice things. When you're decorating your house, for example, you want the nicest furniture, you want the nicest ornaments. You just want something that's nice to look at. And I guess it's the same sort of concept with entertainment, television, movies. People always want to look at nice things. So I guess that's where that argument comes from. It doesn't mean it's right, but I guess that's just the way it is if we argue that human beings are quite superficial people, which is just an argument anyway. But to go back to what you were saying about young people and insecurities, you know, I think we always say it's normal to have insecurities as a young person, and sometimes that doesn't put enough seriousness on the issue of insecurity because we think, oh, it's just normal, they'll get through it. But I think if we don't, like you said, if we don't learn to deal with issues, especially young people, they will carry it forward and we will have more and more generations of, I don't know, broken,
Very true.
I don't want to say damaged, but people who don't really know who they are. And with this issue of social media as well, it gives people a false sense of control because you think you're in control of how people perceive you online. But I mean, you forget that people will still meet you in real life. You Photoshop your waist, you Photoshop your arms and your face, and then they meet you in real life and you're just thinking, you're a couple of dress sizes bigger than you look like online. So,
I mean, I know a few models who have, I mean, you're submitting a portfolio to, let's say, an advertising company or to a modeling agency, and you want to do a runway, you want to do ads. Now you submit a portfolio full of pictures that have been photoshopped. So you get there, you're not the same skin tone that you look like in the picture, you're not the same height, you're not, I mean, now people are even photoshopping to make themselves look slimmer and then stretching the pictures to make themselves look taller. Yes, and taller, and taller. There are a lot of women who feel insecure about their height. Yes, they wish they were taller. Why? Because some of them would,
being 5'6".
so I love being 5'1". You know, I can wear the highest heels. I can wear the highest heels and not feel like a giant in the room.
Yeah.
But there are women who feel insecure about that, and of course men. Because of, and women, we haven't really helped, have we? Saying that we don't want our kids to be short, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty. If a guy is short, we're gonna be popping out midgets.
Like that. You're so mean. But
we'd create tiny babies.
What? Yeah, you and the guy, because you're so tiny yourself.
Yeah, we're both tiny.
But yeah, and I mean, Afa, don't get me wrong, I love social media. I love to take pictures. I love to play around with filters, be it on Insta, Snap, Facebook.
I love a filter.
Please, I'm all over the place.
Filter.
All over the place. I like to share my life. I'm an open book generally. I mean, you know me pretty well, and you know that I don't really hide stuff. If I feel it needs to be said, I'll say it. If it's something I don't think should be said, I just won't say it at all. You're not going to hear it coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But I love to share my experiences, you know, on social media.
You know, I'm not really a sharer. I'm not much of a sharer. You know that. Yeah.
But MFA, it's been a wonderful conversation. We have come to the end of part 1, Cityscape on Citi TV, talking about social media and body ideals. Look out next week for part 2. We'll be delving into a little more deep conversation, even though we've spoken about some pretty heavy stuff right now. See you next week.